What's up, man?
What's good, man?
How are you?
No complaints, man. Feeling good, feeling good.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you. I know my partner Kyle's been interviewing you the past couple of times, so
Yeah,
good to see you again.
great to see you, man.
Man, I just said it. I'm over here jamming to your new single, "Looking for Love." Can I tell you,
Hey,
man? You never let us down, man. You
hey,
always give us something, man. I love it.
I appreciate it, man. That means a lot, man. Especially because, like, I'm real sensitive when I'm producing records, and then like
Yeah.
this one kind of being the first one out the gate. Like, I was just like,
Mm.
I don't know, but it's been really getting a good response, and radio really kicked in, and we're number one. What is it? Number one most added at adult R&B
Wow.
this week. So
Wow.
that's a good sign for sure.
Man,
Yeah,
songs like this is really what I've been missing as an R&B lover because it's like it's music with feeling.
yeah,
We
for
have a
sure.
lot of music for the moment, not to knock anything else that's out there, but like I just miss like music that gives me feeling, and you've always given me that. When you come with your music, so I'm really hoping this catches on. Plus, man, it's got a great groove.
Thank you, man.
It's a head nodder. So, man, I'm loving this one.
I appreciate it, man, for sure.
What
A lot
what
of
ins-
a lot of
yeah,
thought and attention with this one for sure. Yeah.
what inspired you on this one?
Man, so I had the chords back in like January of this year, and I went down to Atlanta just kind of like writing for this project and all this other stuff, and then I linked up with my guy, Chase Farley, and so super duper talented singer, songwriter, producer himself, and so he was just like, "Yo, let's do something from scratch," and I was like, "All right, well, cool. I got these
Yeah,
chords, so let's just kind of like let's build from there," and
yeah,
so literally I kind of put down like this quirky kind of like drum beat, and then we then started to proceed to work on the hook, and then once we had the hook down and like kind of that call me keep in touch thing,
yeah,
I
yeah,
kind of like I was like I said this is very like to the point, but I was like it's something about this, and
yeah.
so we kind of left it alone after we did the hook, and so he was like, all right, cool, on to the next one. So like every so often, maybe like once a week, I would tweak it. It's like, okay, you know what, this feels good right here. Okay, let me take out
Yeah.
these drums and let me add something else. And so week by week, I would just kind of tweak this record as I was working on other stuff. And then I did kind of like this survey essentially. So like what I'll do is like I have like a Facebook supporter section of my page, and so what happens is I'll do these surveys where I'll put new music that I've been working on in
Hmm.
these like embedded in the survey. So it was like 8 songs. Looking for Love was last, and so it was at a point where I was like, okay, I'm ready for people to hear it, but let me just put it last
Yeah.
because whatever. So honestly, man, it rated really high, like higher
Yeah.
than a lot of the other stuff. And so I was like, okay, duly noted. So as I was just like going through the process, I was just like, man, let me be me and let me
Yeah.
actually, stay true to what I love. And as
Right.
I continue to grow and expound and you know what I mean, like diversify myself sonically, there's still that thumbprint, there's still that development of a signature that's being
Right.
created. And I think that's important too with this project that
Yes.
let's start off with a signature. Let's start off with something that is people are comfortable with in the sense of when they
Hmm.
hear it, it doesn't sound too crazy or sound like
Yeah.
so far off. So
Yeah.
that as we expound on the project and if they hear more music, they can always backtrack and understand the
Yeah.
evolution and the process of it.
Gotcha. No, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And you bring up a great point because, like, as artists, we always wonder, like, do you guys, when you hear something, when you hear a song you created, do you know it's the one? Or do you really need to, like, live with it? Like, how does that even go? Because you've had some amazing songs. I
Yeah.
almost wonder if it's like you hear it and it's like, yep, that's the single. Like, how do you know?
I'm gonna be honest. I think you have a good notion to
Yeah.
say this is a good song, right? Or this feels good to me. Um, but you really don't know, and then you got to set your own level of expectation, right? So like,
Hmm.
God is a Genius is a good example because I felt like that was a really strong song of mine. So when I put it out in May of last year, the
Yeah.
initial reaction to it, because granted, the world was going through such
Yeah.
a painful time, like literally George Floyd had passed like days before. And so no one wanted to hear my sentiment that I believe that everything happens for a reason. I don't believe in coincidence, and I believe that God is a
Yeah.
genius,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
you know, that theory for people was hard to digest, right? And nobody was listening to happy R&B
Yeah.
shit at that time. So with that being said, it was like, it was tough to swallow. And so I was like, okay, I know that it's because of the climate, but
Yeah.
did I lose the momentum in order for me to really capitalize off of this record? And I didn't. What happened is months later, I actually went to Sirius XM and I sent the record to, shout out to BJ Stone. And I sent it to him months before, and he never opened the email. The only thing he saw was the title. It said, God is a genius. So
Yeah.
he said, I figured it was a gospel song, and I figured that it was a mistake sending it to me, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, no. And so he called me. He said, Kevin, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I didn't open this email like any sooner, because this record rides.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, like a month later, it hits #1 on Sirius XM, Heart and Soul, and it stays there. And it never really kind of like backed off until maybe like top of like even this year, like early on this year, it was still going.
Yeah.
So that was just really proof that God is a genius for
Yeah.
sure. But just the fact that like you can have a feeling about something, but it could be the wrong timing, right? And
Yeah.
do you have the endurance to really stick it through to say, I know that this record is good,
Yeah.
so I'm going to continue to invest inside of it, no matter how long it takes. That doesn't mean I'm going to push everything else to the side, because the show had to go on. Audacity Volume 2
Right.
still had to come out. But I knew that that particular record, it was going to work for a particular platform.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when you're an indie artist like myself, you gotta bet. You gotta bet on the songs, or you gotta bet on the content that you feel like is gonna give you that ROI. That's the name of our game, right? So that's my level of expectation. So that was a very, very long answer. But all that to say is, you know, yes, sometimes you do know when you got something special. It's just the fact of are you gonna stick it through if it's the wrong timing?
Right.
The right song with the wrong time. So
no, but I'll validate the fact that God is a Genius is a certified hit. I mean, sonically, it's undeniable.
thank
And
you.
I was just thinking today, though, like, man, it's a bold move for an R&B artist to even reference God, because fans are so fickle about that whole gospel R&B lane. It's like, oh, if they mention God, it's like, oh, that's not for me. You don't want to go there. So it was a bold move for you to go there, but hey, it works and it's a great record.
Thank you, man. But I mean, keep in mind too, like, I mean, from the beginning, like when y'all had just started, like, kind of like making reports about me back in the Awakening days. I mean, I had like interludes called Genesis and songs like Her Him. So it always kind of had been a thread.
I felt it.
For me, in the sense that it was like, listen, I am an R&B artist, but I am a God-fearing man first, right?
Yes.
Above all else. And so that's my responsibility within my music. I'm not trying to preach to nobody. But what I am doing is showing my character to say, listen, I make mistakes. I'm just like any other human being on this earth. But one thing is for certain is that the thing that kept me going when things were at standstills or the peaks and the valleys was that through line of God for me. So I had to take responsibility to show my gratitude, but also to kind of identify, to say who's like me in this world, or who identifies with this notion of having these two worlds meshed together. You know what I mean? So that's my life. So all that to say, God is a Genius was a culmination of that. It was like, so yes.
I think that's, another reason I got to give you so much props and respect. You're just so true to yourself, so authentic. And we've always got that, from you, especially in this R&B industry where so many are chasing trends and kind of going in directions that might be more commercially viable.
Yeah.
you've always stayed true, and you've definitely experimented with different sounds and progressed your sound, which is important to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's always been from the core of where you started, and that's why we respect you so much.
I appreciate it, man. And I appreciate you guys for covering me, man, and showing so much love throughout the years. I'm truly
Yeah.
grateful. Yes,
I
sir.
was just thinking back to like when we first met you. It's been, I couldn't believe how long it's been. Like, I think it was 2014 when Dialogue in the Gray came out.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking back to that era of R&B because like that was supposed to be the new Motown, and they were introducing all these. I mean, listen.
I was like,
listen.
yeah.
No. Listen, I'll share my thoughts because I think they dropped the ball because I was excited about the roster of talent they'd accumulated.
Yeah.
But in reality, like it never really got the push it deserved, and you could feel free to share your thoughts if you want. I don't want to put you on the spot to say anything negative.
Nah.
But
Listen, I don't have the bashing spirit anyway. So it's like, I mean, honestly, yeah. I think to completely be honest is that we were all new. Like, not only were the artists new, everyone in their position was like brand spanking new. So, and what I mean by that is new to their position.
Yeah.
They might have been in the game for a long time, but they were very new to their position. So, respectfully, no one knew what they were doing, right?
Yeah.
It was a great idea with bad execution.
Yeah.
And when you're new, you're trying to play the game, right? So, you can't go into the office where your boss is like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is it, and this is what we're working on, and they tell you, nope, the budget is cut here. We can't do no more. We ain't got no more money to spend. No thanks, right? So in respect to that, I think it was well-intended. I think that each and every person that worked within that Motown era was it was well-intended for sure. and it really did mean well. They just it just didn't work. And shout out to BJ too. BJ's independent now. You know what I'm saying? So like, and we've had conversations. When I was in the process of leaving. Because I was like, I see the writing on the wall. It's nothing to do with any of the people there. Amazing people.
Yeah.
Beautiful hearts and spirits. Awesome. Just the writing was on the wall. And it was bad timing. And I mean, who would have thought that literally like maybe a year or two later that then R&B would kind of go through this metamorphosis. You know what I mean? In a sense where if they would have held on just a little bit longer to the idea and budgeted correctly, then maybe, things would have kind of panned out a little differently, but everything happens for a reason, So I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful to have, kind of been in that era with so many talented people. BJ, I mean, of course, is one with B5 and James Davis and Stacey Barth. How can we forget that? That goddamn album was stupid. Like, I literally called her and I was like, what in the hell? Yo, like, I mean, the musicality on that record was, I mean, you play that shit now and it's like crazy. Excuse my French, y'all, but we getting real. We getting real. But I'm just saying, like, it was crazy. I just think that, well-intentioned, bad execution. It is what it is. All love. I've learned a lot from them, and I've learned a lot more being on my own and being independent. So, it all worked out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are positives that came out of it, obviously. I do always wonder, though, if there was, and this is no disrespect to Motown, but was there a budget? Like, I almost felt like it was almost like an independent push for you guys. Like, was money spent to really elevate you guys? But I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I can't say. We don't want to talk negatively about anything. So I just would have liked to see more come of it.
I think here's the thing. I said it in a song with BJ, Be Great the Remix. I'm signed into town, but I'm moving like I'm independent because that's how I felt. But I think I understood this too, right? When you are merging with bigger companies, and they're acquiring you for particular assets. Let's just say your legendary catalog, for example. The budget for your actual current roster is not as important as the legacy catalog. You know what I mean? If you understand what I mean. So now You know what I mean? As
Yeah.
a entrepreneur, I understand like the budget was small, right?
Yeah.
And you had so many different artists that you're just like, how can we make it make sense? How can we make these
Yeah.
guys pop, you know? And plus, granted too, like DSPs were just starting to come in and nobody really knew how that worked and how that system was really going to change things. So it's a very interesting time, but great experiences for sure.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I do have one issue. I was on Spotify today and I noticed The Awakening is not quite on there. I don't know. I'm just curious. Well, I don't really use Spotify a whole lot, but because I have
Yeah.
the album on my iTunes. So
Yeah.
thankfully, you know, but I was like,
Yeah.
damn, it's not really here. Damn. That's not
Well,
cool.
well, I mean, that's one of the, you know, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, for most major label artists, they don't own their music. So
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
signed to Motown, I didn't own The Awakening. I didn't
Yeah.
own,
Yeah.
like, I was literally a glorified work for hire, essentially, right? Like, pretty much. So I can't do anything about it because of the fact that I don't own The Awakening. I don't own that album. So I mean, I've written on it, I produced on it,
Yeah.
yada yada yada. So all of the publishing and all that stuff, that's situated and that's handled.
Yeah.
But as
Yeah.
it pertains to me trying to contact the label to get them to do their job for the thing that they own, you know,
Yeah.
so I mean, until they actually realize that the fact that they don't, they don't have this on DSPs and that it's not making money and it's not making them any money and there's a hole there,
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do. Honestly, I mean, I do probably intend on like buying The Awakening
Nice.
back just for kicks and giggles, just to make sure that my catalog is whole. You know what I mean? But yeah, and until then, I don't know, like play it on
Yeah.
other DSPs, I guess, because I don't own it. Like, to be
Maybe
honest with
you need me to put a call in for you to Motown? I live
listen, man, listen, yeah, call them. I don't know. I own Audacity though. I own this. I own
Yeah.
everything else. Like everything after my
Yeah.
Motown era, I think they own Drive as well. But after that, all of the Audacity stuff and all the Drive 2 stuff and everything else in the future will be owned by me.
Amazing.
And our Society Music Group. So
Amazing.
there you have it.
But you know what's interesting about that time, and you touched on how R&B kind of was just evolving after that. I mean, I wonder how you viewed it, because I almost felt like that was the last stand for traditional R&B, as far as we were getting new artists who were still inspired by the greats who came before them. Now we're getting a lot of artists who are kind of inspired by, hip hop and hip hop rap singing and trendier things. But I almost, like you were one of the last new artists to come out that I can realistically say, me as someone in their mid to late 30s, really was able to vibe with, because after that, it just wasn't the same. And it's not hate; it just is an evolution. But did you follow that evolution, or was it tough for you to follow as well?
It wasn't tough for me to follow the evolution of it. It's just the fact that when it was starting to evolve, like I was literally leaving my label, so it wasn't as if I could literally like mirror the evolution of it. It was kind of like I couldn't put anything out, right? So the only thing I could do was my mashup. So. And within that time, things had evolved within those 2 years. So we had certain people now in place to say, okay, traditional is in a weird space. But what I will say is this, it's a marathon, right?
Yeah.
So everything comes around. And what I mean to say is that we're coming to an age in a space where late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, that kind of era. So that's 10, 15 years of just like a span or spectrum. Everybody wants to eventually come to theater or go to the theater. Nobody really wants to do standing rooms for too much longer around that age. They kind of want to sit down, feel comfortable. If they do want to get up, it's optional. But just to stand there and listen to vibes, and you really, in standing rooms, you really get to see who got bops and who don't, and who can make you move and who can't, right? So, theaters is next for us. So that's what I'm actually preparing for. I'm preparing and developing the catalog that will be built for that arena, that setting and that stage.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, it's, you know, this is years in the making, and it's still going to be years in the making because I still have, I mean, tons of points to prove. But I have a blueprint, and I actually have a goal. I have a goal in mind. So as I'm moving and as I'm doing things, I'm doing it with purpose, not just to say, I'm going to release this just because I'm just trying to feel the vibe of the people. It's like, nah, I'm going to release this because this is going to be a part of my catalog. And I got to invest inside of my catalog so that every year it's the name, it's the song. So by the time that it's a culmination of things that hit, and I get that opportunity, the goal is we're selling out 300 seaters nationwide now, but the goal is to sell out 3,000, right?
Nice.
So now you have to diversify in a way where you keep plugging catalog until those seats fill. And when them asses in seats and you actually are in the moment, now the people that are there to say, I remember that song. Oh, damn, I forgot. Yes, he did do that. Or they did do X, Y, and Z, right? But that comes with time, especially nowadays with how R&B is. Like, you're starting to see a lot of R&B artists taking this indie route. And what you're seeing is now a new twist and a new turn because everybody has to figure it out, right? You got to figure out what makes you money, what's going to make you visible and win. And what does winning actually mean in your mind, right? So someone's version of success could be completely different. Somebody could say, well, Kevin, I want you, on Hot 100 #1. And it's like, that's awesome. But is it now, here's the thing. But I can't chase something that somebody else wants. If, you know what I mean? Like, if it's aligned with my vision, then great. Like, let's go. But if it's something where it's going to make me take a detour and it's a distraction more so than it is an assistance, then I can't partake, even though it may sound cool and it may sound dope. I'm my own business now. So if it don't make money, it don't make sense. And that's tough. That's a tough thing. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's what I have to think about. Like, I have to separate myself to say, yo, I'm going in to create music. And I try to have as much fun as possible. And then once I sit with the music, now I have to put on a business hat to say, okay, what's going to be viable? What's going to be the thing that resonates with the people? Because if it don't make money, it don't make sense. Like, so, and I can experiment on an album, but I got to make sure that the singles that I got coming out, that it does resonate. And it may, and here's the thing, there's different worlds too. It may not resonate on DSPs, but I may be a champion at radio or vice versa, right? Or I may be a champion on stage or whatever the case may be, right? So every R&B artist that's taking this route has to figure out the thing that is profitable for them and what's going to be successful, because that's the thing that's going to allow for this genre to continue to evolve, to thrive, and to build this ecosystem that will build the bridge to help the future artists. Keep in mind, major labels ain't signed up but 2 or 3 R&B acts now. They think that we're not a profitable business, right? So they're like, it's more of a risk now to sign an R&B artist. So that's hundreds and thousands of singers, talented singers, songwriters, and producers that are out here without a gig or don't know a route or how to navigate. So that's a part of my job too, is to make sure that I am a front runner in a sense to say, this is possible. Like, you can still do your shit and be successful, or you can still do your shit and make money. You know what I mean? Like, it may not look as sexy as over there with the majors. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like I'd say my life changed maybe 2014. 2014 was the year that music completely like kept my lights on
Mm. It's
completely.
amazing. It's a
And I never
blessing.
looked back. And
Yeah.
that's, like you said, it's a blessing because a lot of people may have to, teeter back and
Yeah.
forth. You got
Yeah.
to work that 9 to 5 and be Clark Kent, or, you know what I'm saying, Mary Jane, or whomever.
Yeah.
And then you got to switch over to the artistry. But the work that it takes in order for that transition to click and to say, okay, I know how to monetize. I
Yeah.
know how to invest, to say, because every time I come out, it is a risk.
Right.
I mean, I'm a professional gambler. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
It's a good way to
Like,
put it.
I listen, anybody that's in a creative business, like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why casinos and all that stuff don't faze me. It's not a thing for me because I've been in the business of risk for like almost 10 years now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm in one of the most riskiest businesses.
Yeah.
So like, this is what I do. Like, to say,
Right.
I believe in this record and I'm going to invest, umpteen $1,000 in this
Yeah.
record to get the ROI. And thank God that I haven't crapped out.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Hey, you bring up an interesting point, though. But first, I wanted to acknowledge a couple of your fans in here. When you were talking about doing the theater tour,
Yeah.
I seen a couple comments. Their knees aren't what they used to be, so they're gonna be thankful to have that seat and have that glass of wine. I have to stand the whole time, and I totally get that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask you though, because a lot of artists, from what I see, like you just talked about, looking for love, #1 most added. A lot of artists now are bypassing radio. They're not even going that route. Personally, I feel like radio is still important because that's how you build that catalog of hits, what we consider to be hits. Obviously, it costs a lot of money to promote it, but I think it's still important. I mean, what's your perspective on that? Why do you feel it's still important?
You got to figure out what's important to your business, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes radio may not work for a particular artist. So I'm not saying that every artist say, yeah, go the radio route. It just so happens that I'm technically a radio artist, right? So meaning, like, I make music for people to consume at a wide rate in the sense of that format and that structure. Yeah. I structure my songs particularly for that kind of audience, right? So somebody else may be I call them streaming darlings, where, their streams be through the roof. Oh man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's great. But it just depends. Like for me, I've always tried to have a healthy balance to say, okay, like Audacity taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. It taught me how I should be running my business. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that's the only thing I can say. I think radio is important for artists that are received well on radio. If you do have experience there and you know that people receive you well and actually the ROI to say, okay, when I come into this city to do radio, in return, most likely it's going to be a show and then you have a little bag. You know what I mean? So with that being said, you got to know what works for you. And if you don't know if radio works for you, don't knock it until you try it. And you got to invest, right? It is a hefty penny to actually, pay to play. But at the end of the day, you won't know until you try.
Yeah.
And so for me, there's different avenues that I'm actually technically working on too, to say, okay, I want to do that. I want to do a night show. You know what I'm saying? But I know that doing a night show, and most people may not know this, it runs on average, like a baseline cost is $15,000 just to get the look.
Yeah.
Right? Just to say, hey, I'm interested in doing it. I got the baseline money that is going to cost in order for me to actually be onto the show. Then the next hurdle is to say, are you important enough, or are you popular enough, or do you have enough going on for our network or our show to care about it? So there's the layers to it. So for me, that's an avenue that hasn't been open for me. So now it's like, okay, I have to now formulate that plan and say, I want every avenue open. So every time that I come out, that now I can pick and choose, or I can do them all if, if my budget is right, if that money's right.
Yeah.
But, but I can pick and choose to say, okay, which one has the biggest ROI? And where is it coming from? Where is it stemming from? My mind is now working differently because it's forced to. I just can't think about the music. I have to think about the other things that make me profitable. And that's the beauty of it too, because now you're going to start to see a brand new hustle and a brand new wave of R&B artists and entrepreneurs. And I mean, a business is going to be, it's going to be dope. Like,
yeah.
We're seeing it now. Like, the music is definitely changing. Like, you're starting to like get those folks or whatever. But yeah, man, it's gonna be dope. Like, when it all pans out, I give it 3 to 5 years. Like, for everything to really pan out in a sense where some of your major artists who are streaming dollars ain't gonna be signing majors no more, because they're not, they're gonna be up to here with, you know what I mean? Like, with neglect or debt or whatever the case may be. So, but you're gonna see the business structure bloom and blossom, and it's gonna just create different avenues in a way that we've never seen before. I mean, before this, as far as indie R&B is concerned, one of the greatest was from 2 or 3 generations before us, and that's Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that gap in between, and now granted, okay, much respect, Raheem Devon, Maya, you know what I mean? Like, there are artists that are still, Eric Roberson, so many, PJ Morton, so many different ones that I can name, right? That are trendsetters, that are really getting in front to say, this is how I'm profitable. This is my blueprint on how it works. So for me, as one of the younger ones and newer ones, I'm studying and I'm gleaning off to say, okay, they did it like this. Okay, I like that. Okay, I didn't like this. And trying to, soak in that game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because that's what it's going to take in order for our genre to continue to not only just survive, but to actually thrive. But I know I'm talking. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, continue, man. You're sharing so much knowledge. I love where you're at. It's a lot of artists, that really don't have a plan. They're kind of just making music and kind of don't even know where it's going, or they're just kind of throwing it out there and it just gets lost in the shuffle. I kind of love that you have a plan. You're really trying to learn and improve and make moves. I mean, much respect on that. Like, and even with the song like "Looking for Love," I got to tell you, first off, the song, it's like playing in the back of my mind while I'm doing this interview. Like, that's how I know when a song is a one. It's like, it just sticks with you. It's stuck and you just can't get it out because it's that good. But the thing is, like, by you going to radio with it and being successful, you're adding another hit, which will make it's a timeless song. And by cementing it at radio as a hit, that'll be played for years to come, generations to come. You're solidifying your legacy. I know, you're still, relatively young, but you're building a legacy here, man. I love what you're doing as an independent artist with each project. They're on point. They're what your fans are looking for and expecting. So major respect to, where you're at and what you're doing in your movement.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it for sure.
I did something a little different, to wrap up this interview, man. I was listening to all your songs today. I prepared what I consider to be the top 5 Kevin Ross songs. Okay. I wonder if you could actually would guess. I won't make you guess, but.
Oh no! Make me guess. Make me guess.
But this is my personal opinion of what I consider to be the best, and I've heard every project you release. So yeah, I wonder what the fans think. Actually, if you're in here right now, I'm curious what you guys think are the best Kevin Ross songs. Obviously, we have the bigger hits, but
yeah, I already know that within this, I know that there's technically two that are automatically shoe-ins, and that's "Don't Go."
Oh man,
right?
Yes. You know I love that one.
That's an obvious
One
one.
complaint though.
Yes, here we go.
I would have loved to have a bridge on there, man. If there was a bridge, that would have been like the best song of the decade. I mean, it was so good, man. Whew.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And to think that song would have gone to waste, honestly.
Yeah.
But thank God had other plans. But yeah, man, it would have been dope with a bridge. Shout out to Bryson Tiller. That's the reason why Bryson Tiller reached out to me, because he heard "Don't Go," and he was like, "Yo, like we gotta figure something out." And he actually got onto the record. We just never put it out.
Oh wow.
So we never put it out. But yeah, man, that record really sparked a lot of great conversations between me and my peers, I guess.
Yeah.
But just a lot of great artists, to be honest. Oh yeah, of course, Long Song Away. You can't not have that.
So that's in there.
God is a Genius.
That's in there. That's in there as well.
Okay, that's 3. Okay, I was 3 for 3.
I didn't put Looking for Love. I was tempted to, but it's too new.
It's too new. It's too fresh.
I actually have an honorable mention section, which I'll also share, and that's in the honorable mention. So you got 3 out of 5. Last 2 more.
Okay.
The last 2 might be a little more tricky.
Yeah. Okay. Now, does these songs, do they have to be original?
Yeah, I mean, I included only the originals. I didn't do the covers.
Okay. My cousin said actually a good one. I don't know if this is gonna be on there. Be Great.
I have that as an honorable mention.
Okay,
So
I like that.
I have 5 top 5, and then I have 5 honorable mentions. So technically, it's a top 10 here.
All right. What's your other 2?
Oh, I see. Don't Forget About Me. That's number 11. Damn, I forgot about that one. That should be my top 5.
The bonus.
I'll do the honorable mention first. There's too many good ones, man. I'm sorry. It's too much to pick from it. So I had Be Great in there. Look Up is in the honorable mention. Love that one.
Okay.
And it's so meaningful too. Like songs like that with meaning, like so special.
Yeah.
Thing Called Love, had to put that in the honorable mention.
Yeah.
Like that one too. And then this one's a surprise. Remind You.
Oh,
I like that one a lot.
Like that's in the top 5?
No, this is the honorable mention.
Okay.
So that's like number 8 or 9.
I like that.
So that's it. And then Looking for Love would have been 10. So the last 2 in the top 5.
Yeah.
Taking it all the way back to the first project. I have Dream on there. I have Dream. Now the bridge on that song. Oh my goodness. Woo.
Yes.
That's a bridge, man. That's an amazing song. And
thank you, man.
And the last one, and this might be my favorite even of all your songs, is Cruise. Wow. You know what it is? The feeling about the song. Like, it's just such a vibe. Like, you just get lost in the song. Yeah. I know we use a term like it's a vibe, but it's not like, it's just like the groove of the song, melodically. It's just a special song. And that's up there for me.
Wow. Shout out to Jay Kitts, man. Jaron Spruill, the producer of Cruise. Jaron Spruill, to me, is a genius of a producer. And the reason why I say it is because he has a really huge catalog of music, like in his laptop and in his computer. So when I go to Atlanta to work with Kitts, here's what happens. So I say, Kitts, what you got? Kitts gonna play me all of 5 tracks. And I may like all of them, but like what I'm really searching for something. I'm really searching for that thing. And so I say, I know you got some more stuff. We go through this each and every time, never finish, like rain shine. Yeah. I know you got some more stuff. I know you ain't been here for X amount of time and you ain't got that. And he'll say, all right, cool. Let me go through some stuff. And he'll start going through stuff. And then when we heard, I said, hold up, right? Because he was about to turn it off. I said, hold on, time out. I said, what? Hold on. Time out. Play that. So he's like, for real? I said, yeah. I said, pull it up. Boom. And I remember we did the song with that, like that night, like the whole thing through and through. And and so he he didn't like it.
Oh my
He didn't
goodness.
he didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
He was like, it's cool. Now granted, we're making Cruise and Audacity at the same time. We're making Drive and Audacity at the same
Yeah.
time. So that the same trip we made Cruise is the same trip we started a thing called Love. So that's how early I was making the other projects, right? So, he's entitled to have his
Yeah.
favorites, to say, okay, we
Yeah.
made Cruise, we made Thing Called Love, we made Honest, Onya, and like a couple of other, like Let It Out. Like we made a couple of records that trip. So of course he ain't thinking about no damn Cruise, but I
Yeah.
knew, I was like, yo, this record feels good. Like
Yeah.
let's not just steamroll. He was like, all right, cool, whatever. And lo and behold, it comes out, and of course, the shining record on the Drive project is Prototype, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but in second
Yeah.
is Cruise. And so I just had a feeling about that record, man, just as far as like that's a catalog record. So even
Yeah.
though on DSPs it didn't do what I may have wanted it to do, when you come to a show and as we develop the catalog, for people, even if they hear, that first time, it's something that they'll go back to and say, damn, how did I miss this? Or
Right.
okay, I actually like this record, right? That's the beauty of music, for that matter. So that's kind of cool, man. And like Cruises,
Yeah.
that's dope.
It just makes you
I
feel
like
good,
that.
It makes you feel good. It's one of those songs you throw
Yeah.
on and like we don't hear a lot of songs like that. It makes you want to get in the car and just cruise, like literally. So
Yeah.
songs that give you feeling is like so welcome,
Man. Yeah, speaking of which, my bad. There is a rendition of Cruise. So there's a girl by the name of Shredder, and she's out in Australia.
Mhm.
And somebody was like, yo, I don't know if I like Kevin Ross's Cruise or Shredder's Cruise. And I was like, who the hell got a Cruise song? So of course I clicked the link
Yeah.
and it starts playing. And so for me, I use colors and kind of like times of the day to like match the feel of music. So Cruise for me always felt like a day drive, like
Yeah.
sun top down,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's bright. This girl made like a night version, and I mean, it's hard. It's
I
hard.
gotta
It's hard.
I
It's
gotta pull
hard.
that up after this.
You gotta pull it up. It's hard, bro. I was like, I mean, it's same lyrics, same melody, but just her tone. I mean, this chick is crazy. Like,
I'm a little nervous, to be honest. I mean, I went in
no,
the
no, no,
room
no, no,
for
no, no.
it.
Honestly, I mean, because I'm gonna be honest, because I'm like, me and Kits are the creators of it,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like her rendition, how she freaked it, like I was like, oh yeah, like because I made Cruise, it made me love that version more. To say,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna play, I was playing that thing
Yeah.
for a minute because I was just like, how did she capture
Yeah.
that? So shout out to Shredder from Australia. We actually linked up, and I'm looking forward to working with her and building with her. I know that she has more music coming out, and
Yeah.
I'm like artists
I
like
found
that,
it.
man. Yes.
I just
So
pulled it up on YouTube. I'll play it right after this.
yeah. Listen, and hit me, DM me.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think, cause yeah, I like it. But anywho, all I had to say, yeah. So shout out to that. But
So, and any songs that immediately come to mind for you that you would have had up there, or that you consider top 5, top 10 material, that just off the top of your head?
yeah, top 5. Long Song Away, Don't Go, God Is a Genius. I do think Looking for Love will end up being in my top. I mean,
Yeah.
I do think that it's a top 5 record in the sense of that kind of feel.
Yeah.
It may be too soon, but I'm gonna just call it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it what it is. And then the number 5 spot gotta be Thing Called Love, just off the strength of like the time that it took on that record
Yeah.
to like get it right. Like
Yeah.
it took a lot of it took a lot of time. Like I had to sing it over. Like Troy Taylor had to
Yeah.
like vocal, like I did a version and then he was just like, no, I don't believe you. And he made me do it again. Well, not made
That's
me do
Troy
it again,
Taylor.
but I flew out to Atlanta specifically to, you know, to get my vocals right. Man, like, yeah, just off the strength of that goes in top 5. But I'll be lying if
Yeah.
Be Great gotta be in there too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So that's
All
yeah.
right. Dope. Hey man, before we get out of here, tell us about the upcoming project and you know, what we can expect the rest of this year.
If you like Drive and if you like Cruise, then the first record from off of this project you're gonna really like.
Yeah.
We really like, I think we upped the ante of Drive. I think that this is the most that I produced ever on a project, which was a crazy feat. But I think we really like upped the ante, like giving like different kind of feels, like the feels that we did try. I think we tried the island feel with Representer on Drive, but I think I nailed it this time around with the record that I got.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I nailed certain things that I was attempting to do on this album or this project. And of course, you know, I'm experimenting too. You can't. You got to.
You got to.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the album is for. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think that it's an all-purpose project. Just like Looking for Love is kind of like an all-purpose song. You can wake up and put on Looking for Love. You can go to sleep and put on Looking for Love. You can get in your car. You can clean the thing. You do anything to Looking for Love. It's an all-purpose record, right?
Right.
Drive to that whole installment is that. It's just, it just got different colors and feels to it that I was like, yo, this gotta be Drive 2. This has to, you know, there's a reason why it's called that, because when you at least listen to the first, I'm looking at the titles right now. When you listen to at least the first like 4 to 5 records, you know, it's you know, people understand, but like, okay, like this is a vibe. Like this is what I need to put on in my car.
Right.
Kind of thing. So
dope. We're looking forward to hearing that, man.
Yeah.
Dope. Hey, Kevin, I want to thank you so much for your time, man. Got so much love for you. You know, you always show us so much love. And, man, like I said, we just love what you're doing, always giving us great music. You building up that timeless catalog, which I, you know, love to celebrate whenever I can. So just keep it going, man. We'll be here to support.
Absolutely. Somebody said release date. Drive 2 is coming out in October.
October. All right, cool.
October. So yeah, you'll probably hear maybe two more records before Drive 2 is out. So second record is coming. I'm hoping to release it before Labor Day, cause I think y'all gonna like that one. I think y'all gonna like that one. Like a lot of people like that one. So yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Listen, whenever I'm in New York, I think we doing City Winery. I think sometime soon, like this year. You know, if the Delta variant doesn't, you know, do something stupid. But you know, listen, man, you already know, man. Tickets on me, bro. Just off the strength that, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all been looking out since day one, and I appreciate it so much, man. Through the ups and the downs, the peaks and the valleys, man. We got a lot more to do. Just as an R&B community, bro. So I'm looking forward to seeing your company and your business thrive as we thrive and as we flourish. I want for every single publication, specifically, you know, I got sold. Every publication, but specifically y'all to flourish and to get all of the looks that you guys deserve. You know what I mean? All of the heavy hitters, from the Brunos to the Andersons to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, leave the door open. You know what I'm saying? You need you know what I'm saying? Hitting the interview. So I pray, you know, for continued success, bro, and expansion within your business. And for everyone that's watching, man, I speak success and prosperity over your lives and whatever endeavors that you got going on. That no problem is too big for God to handle, or the universe, or whatever that you believe. You gotta believe that you believe in something that's bigger than yourself. Um, so, I really do pray that you guys prosper. Continue to have a great year, man. Thank you so much. And of course, we'll be talking again, and we'll be talking about Drive 2. And, just let me know.
Look forward to it, man. Thanks so much, Kevin.
My
Appreciate you.
guy.